It's Jen and Casey in the morning.
We have a very special show for you today. We're going to be talking to you about newborn physiologic jaundice.
Oh yes, that's very important. Listen up all you soon-to-be moms, because this affects 60% of newborns. Jen, what's newborn physiologic jaundice?
Casey, I'm thinking they probably don't know what normally happens in the body. So why don't we start there? Follow me. Alright, so we have red blood cells which have hemoglobin that live for about 120 days in an adult, and then they die.
Wait, what? They just die? They just die. What happens?
Yeah. So as I was saying, they live for 120 days, and when they die, the heme is then catalyzed by a membrane-associated enzyme, heme oxygenase. It then undergoes a series of oxidations and reductions to make unconjugated bilirubin.
Oh yeah, right. And then the bilirubin is transported in the bloodstream bound to albumin.
Ooh, a protein.
That's right, Jen, a protein.
It is then actively transported across the sinusoidal membrane of hepatocytes, where it is conjugated with glucurononic acid to form conjugated bilirubin, facilitated by enzymes bilirubin, uridine, diphosphate, glucuronosyltransferase in a two-step process. Oh, those proteins. That conjugated bilirubin is now going to be transported across the canalicular membrane into the biliary tree by specific proteins such as multi-drug resistance associated protein 2. It then goes to the lumen of the gut for excretion, and it can also be reabsorbed from the small intestine and excreted in the urine. So if that's what happens in normal homeostasis, what happens in newborn physiologic jaundice?
Well, Jen, the red blood cells of the newborn only live for 70 to 90 days. This rapid breakdown of homeostasis causes less available oxygen and can make for one sleepy baby. As well, there is an increased production of bilirubin in the body. The newborn's metabolism of bilirubin is in transition from the fetal stage, where the bilirubin crossed the placenta and was excreted by the mother. In the postnatal stage, the water-soluble conjugated form of bilirubin is excreted from hepatic cells into the biliary system and then out through the GI system.
So, Casey, why can't the newborns just excrete the conjugated bilirubin faster?
Jen, they're just babies. Don't be silly. Newborns have an immature bilirubin conjugation and excretion system, as well as less of the enzymes needed, which means that they are unable to efficiently move the unconjugated bilirubin across the sinusoidal membrane of the hepatocytes, where it becomes conjugated bilirubin. And the conjugated bilirubin that is produced has a harder time moving across the canalicular membrane and into the biliary tree to the lumen of the gut to be excreted. This buildup of bilirubin in the blood gets deposited into the skin and causes a yellow color as well.
So, Casey, if I was to summarize, I would say that newborn physiologic jaundice is a condition where there is excess bilirubin in the blood caused by the newborn's immature bilirubin conjugation and excretion system?
Yes, that's correct. Underdeveloped proteins make it difficult for the newborn to break down the bilirubin and move it through the cell membranes. Can you say homeostatic imbalance?
Well, that sounds serious. How would new mothers know if their babies have newborn physiologic jaundice?
Well, Jen, I'm glad you asked. We have a special guest with us here today who is actually suffering from physiologic jaundice. Let me introduce baby Cinderella.
Well, welcome, baby Cinderella.
Hi, everybody! The biggest indicator of my jaundice is that my eyes and skin have a yellow discoloration. It's caused by the deposit of bile pigment from excess bilirubin in my blood. My yellow discoloration started around day 4, and the nurses told me it will last up to 2 weeks as my body systems develop.
Wow, that is a very yellow color. Do you have any other symptoms?
Yes, I feel quite sick and I have some difficulty waking. I also haven't been able to feed very well, and my cries are high-pitched.
Those symptoms sound awful.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm going to go have a nap.
Thank you, Cinderella.
So those symptoms do sound awful. Do you know what kinds of treatments are available for newborn physiologic jaundice?
Well, the biggest thing is to make sure that you're providing adequate enteral hydration. So you want to be feeding the newborn 8 to 12 times a day with breast milk or formula. And if you need to supplement the feeding, it should be done with also breast milk or formula and not water. If the fluid intake isn't adequate, you'll have to go to IV therapy. There's also phototherapy and in extreme cases, exchange transfusion.
Well, there you have it, Jen. To all you new moms, don't be blaming your nurses when they wake you up every 2 hours to feed your baby. That's important.
Well, thanks for joining us on Jen and Casey in the Morning.